Camelot 331 here, and another company has joined the despicable party. The party of despicable practices that has people leaving and getting fired in droves. For what reason? To increase shareholder support by manipulation and by lying and by ultimately greed at the expense of the everyday worker. So what is happening exactly? So I've got several messages from Lowe's associates all talking about what is happening and what has happened to them personally, and also some shocking things that have to do with certain pay cuts, with certain position, and also layoffs, buybacks. Oh my gosh. When you see some of these things in here, some of the shocking revelations, it's going to blow your mind. But we're going to jump directly into the associate messages, which caused me to research a lot and find out some shocking info. Lowe's is not what we thought it was. It's almost as bad ethically as GameStop. I'm not even lying. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, doodle. It means a lot to me. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't. We have a long way to go. And we have to give everyone a voice, and I need your help to do that. So here we go. First one. I have a Lowe's story. I am just so devastated. So I asked for the story. They say I have been at Lowe's since 2007, 12 years. Things have been weird lately. Store manager won't talk to me. Everyone is on eggshells. The company is struggling and morale is down. I walked into work last week and was taken into an office and told I was being laid off. No notice, nothing. 12 years. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, so you work full-time somewhere for 12 years. What's going to happen after this? Well, of course, you're not going to have a job, so that sucks. But at least you'll get severance. That is a good thing about working full-time somewhere for a long time. You're going to get severance. Oh, what's this? I asked if I would get severance, and they told me, as much as it pains us, we will not be offering you severance. 12 years, no severance. Wow. 12 years wasted is what that means. Instead, they would give me 2 weeks of pay to help me find another job. Well, that's really generous. 2 weeks. Surely, if you're making $28 an hour, 2 weeks will help you find another job. I'm making close to that. Corporate companies are so out of touch. 2 weeks? Funny, they did a big layoff for human resources at Lowe's as well. They gave them a whole year notice for that. An entire year. They gave your everyday normal associate full-time 0. Why do companies always do that? Why is it okay for a company to give 0 notice, but it's frowned upon when a worker doesn't work out a 2-week notice? Why is a worker, an everyday person, held to a higher standard than a corporate company worth billions? Strange. He says, to add insult to injury, they said I could reapply for Lowe's, but I would lose all my built-up benefits and it would be for $12 less an hour. Wow. I live paycheck to paycheck. I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage or anything. I'm just so scared. That is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Could you imagine working somewhere for 10, 12, 15 years, giving your everything, your heart and your soul to a company, and then them literally taking you in the back and throwing you out the back door, basically flipping you off? Isn't that insane? That is literally like the juicer. Remember we talked about the juicer in the Amazon series? You're juicing your associates like a juicer. That's what they're doing. They just use them up and throw them away and discard them. Human beings. Breathing, living human beings. Next one. Cam, I've been watching you for a while. I was just fired from Lowe's after 5 years. Out of nowhere. I am full-time and they are not giving me severance. We just heard that. The manager actually laughed and said I could reapply for part-time as a cashier if I want. Wow. For nearly minimum wage. A third of what I make now. He said the company can't afford to give severance. The atmosphere was so bad right up to that point. Another one, a quick one. The exact same story. What does this mean? What exactly does this mean and what does it lead to? Well, it leads us in to this right here. Lowe's spent billions on share buybacks and 0 on severance for laid off workers. Shocking. So this is what happened after I researched. We found out a lot of crazy stuff. Lowe's is laying off thousands of workers after hiking quarterly dividends and spending billions to repurchase company shares. So you ask yourself, wow, their stock is increasing very fast. Well, it's because they're manipulating it by buying shares back. So it increases desire for other shareholders to jump on board. The home improvement chain isn't offering severance to laid-off workers, some of whom have been at Lowe's for a decade or more, just like the guy that was there 12 years. And I want you to see this, and I want you to really, really pay attention to this. Lowe's has roughly 300,000 employees who are, without question, the home improvement chain's greatest asset, according to their boss, CEO Marvin Ellison. He offered a shout out at the retailer's annual shareholder meeting in May, crediting a 15% boost in the company's quarterly dividends to his workers' efforts. So he's giving all the props to his workers, increasing profit and doing amazing, and they're the greatest asset. But what's this right here? Yet, when thousands of those workers recently got the boot, they received no notice and no severance. Instead, Lowe's, a profitable company that spends billions buying back its own stock, offered the equivalent of 2 weeks transition pay to full-time workers, some with the company more than a decade. Laid off workers were also invited to reapply for a job at Lowe's, though not necessarily for the same pay. Exactly what the people sent me in the stories. What kind of piece of garbage company would fire a 15-year associate, a full-time associate, and not give them severance or anything? That is insane. They gave you their life, a good 20-30% of their life. They gave it to you, and you gave them nothing. Absolutely nothing except for, oh, you're our greatest asset. Bye. Wow. That is insane to me. That is insane. Right here it says, labor activists contend Lowe's executives are treating the rank and file poorly while lining their own investors' pockets through share repurchases and cash dividends. But then where does that lead us? I did some more research. Where does that lead us? That leads us to Lowe's employees saying morale has crushed within the home improvement giant stores in recent years. In recent years, morale is reaching an all-time low. Business Insider spoke with 6 current and former Lowe's workers about what's happening within the stores. These workers cited a number of moves that they said have driven out longtime workers and eroded employee support systems. Lowe's employees say that the company has recently eliminated a number of specific roles, including HR managers, assembly associates, and maintenance staff. Store workers characterize the restructuring as a milder form of layoffs. Lowe's released a statement saying, when we make changes to specific roles, we make every effort to retain associates, including providing the option to apply to open positions in the company, or as in many cases, offering the opportunity to transition into other roles in our stores. Except you're not doing that. You're laying them off and giving them the opportunity to apply for lower positions because you don't want to pay them as much. But what does Lowe's think about these morale issues in their stores? Well, I got an exclusive look that you're only going to see here of the CEO in a video basically saying what he thinks about the morale issues in his stores that he is the CEO of. I apologize for the audio. It is terrible, but it was hard getting this, so I apologize. Here we go.
One more question from the audience.
Good morning, Marvin. From 779 Hana, Michigan. So I recently read an article about company morale being down due to a lot of the recent changes, and just wondering what your ideas are to help boost that back up.
You know what, it's a really good question, and the article was not necessarily a true reflection of what's happening in the company. You know, I think what happened is they talked to a handful of associates in like one location, and from some of the changes we've made, their feedback was morale is down. So here's the reality, folks.
So that is, look at this. That is what every single company does. They say, oh, well, they talk to some disgruntled employees or some employees or just 2 employees. So that doesn't actually reflect anything, and it's not true. That is what every single corporate company does. It's almost like they have a handbook on what to say to try to handle PR nightmares. When in actuality, it's thousands of people. You can actually go to the Lowe's Reddit, go to the Lowe's workers Reddit, and everyone's complaining about Lowe's. Not just a sample size of 2 people. So that's what the CEO thinks. He thinks that morale is down because it's actually not down. Now that is some expert schooling on his part. He's got an incredibly good education. Education. But I said at the beginning, I have some shocking info to release. Some shocking info that hasn't actually been confirmed by Lowe's or anyone, but we're going to confirm it right here on this channel. Something that is destroying morale across Lowe's. Something that GameStop did when I was there completely to a T. And what is that exactly? You know what I'm about to say. Let's get into this message, and this is going to blow your mind. Here we go. Anyone talk to you about Lowe's yet? They say, so I've been at Lowe's since 2010, and we used to have commission. which I really enjoyed. Well, in 2012, it was taken away and replaced with an allowance. Shocking, something that most corporations do. They're like, oh, never mind. We have people making a lot on commission. We'd rather just not pay them that much. Because screw that. We don't want to give our associates any incentive to do work. We're just going to give them the incentive of not being fired. Fear-mongering doesn't work, son. So he said, it didn't bother me, but it wasn't a big deal. He said, today I was taken into an office and told that all associates were losing this allowance. So this huge part of my check was being taken away. It accounts for a huge portion, even after the company said they would never take away the allowance. The pay cut has completely killed morale. Tons of people are leaving, and I am too. Thought I would share my story. So you heard it here first, folks. A giant pay cut hitting the stores first thing next year. Lowe's is cutting this huge pay from all these associates. Why? So they can spend billions on buybacks and get that stock price higher to get more people to invest, to line their own pockets with yachts and Ferraris. And don't get me wrong, I like a good Ferrari and a good yacht, but that's messed up. And why is it legal? It seems like every single corporate company does the exact same thing. They do corporate buybacks, they line their pockets, they get the hell out of there. And that's what they're doing at Lowe's right now, and what they're doing at GameStop. So about that message I just received, it said next year, Lowe's employees say the company will also do away with its allowance, a change that affects a small group of long-term employees who earned spiffs or an immediate sales bonus and commission on sales before 2012. Lowe's did not confirm that it was going away with these allowance, so there it is. This guy just confirmed it right now. These associates, they don't even know it yet. You're hearing it here. They're losing this allowance that they've been given, that they probably rely on to get through every single week. They're losing it. Lowe's doesn't give a damn. They ain't even going to offer you severance. It's fine. It's fine. And the funny thing is, when the allowance was actually announced, it said, when will this allowance go away? The allowance will be eliminated for an employee at the time of a position change, from an hourly to store position to a position that is ineligible, from an hourly position to a salary position in the store, from an hourly position to a position at corporate DCs or other non-store entities. So that right there, that document says that this allowance will never go away if you're in the same position. But now they announced they're taking it away, which is two-faced as hell. It's two-faced as hell. That's like saying, hey, this is your new pay structure, and then saying it's not going anywhere, and then redacting that and just taking it away. Just taking it away. We don't care about you. You ain't getting severance. This is crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. They fired their HR store staffs. They fired their maintenance staffs. They're firing thousands and thousands and thousands of their greatest asset of 300,000 associates that they attribute all their success to. Fired thousands of those. Thousands among thousands with no severance. Full-time associates with no severance. Something that I honestly think shouldn't be legal in a developed country. Shouldn't be illegal. If you get fired with no notice, you should be given some sort of severance to help you basically reacclimate to the world. If you've been somewhere for 15 years, that's like being in prison. How are you going to reacclimate to getting a resume together and, get going? You know what I'm saying? You need severance, things to that nature. So it just goes to show it's another corporation that doesn't give a damn about its associates. It doesn't give a damn. And if you say anything negative about it, well, that doesn't reflect their business. Lowe's doesn't give a damn. They're following the dangerous path of shooting their employees in the face and expecting something good to happen. It's literally the picture. You ever seen the picture of the manager that's shooting the good employee in the face and then he's going to fall off the cliff? That's what Lowe's is going to do. That's what they're doing right now. That's what GameStop is doing. That's what every company is doing. They think they can punish their frontline people directly responsible for their profit. They think they can punish them and nothing's going to happen. But unfortunately, something will happen. That's not how you do it. People that give you profit, you need to treat them with respect and reward them how they deserve. A few $1 million will go a long way instead of spending an extra couple million on share buybacks. It's not that big a deal. Just do the right thing. That's all you have to do is just do the right thing. It's not that hard. Holy hell. I saw a cat the other day and it was in the middle of the road and I stopped and I put the cat not in the road. Do the right thing. He might have been hit later, but at least it wasn't by me. So what do you think about this? Do you work at Lowe's? Do you work at somewhere like that? Do you work anywhere? Amazon, GameStop, McDonald's? You work at a car dealership? Send me a message. If you work at Lowe's specifically, send me a message. Let's get some more stories out there. You deserve a voice because things are happening within your company, and I want to know about it, and I want people to hear about it, and let's create a stir. Maybe Lowe's will fix it if enough people to get their voice out. So make sure if you like this video and you believe in the cause to subscribe and give it an updoodle. It means a lot to me, and make sure you get on it. Doggone it. Bye. It's appropriate. It's appropriate because the video's about the home things. Yeah.